Alright, so this video is going to go through the entire request for quote process, or quote request. It gets called those two things interchangeably. And we're going to have a look at how the process works, what the trade or supplier sees. We're going to have a look at how you can help your trade or supplier reply and understand what the process is. We'll have a look at how you can update the reply or change the reply on behalf of the trade or supplier, and how you can ultimately pick a winner. Rightio, so we're going to do electrical for this. And just a note before we start, if you are on an entry plan, this is not actually something you'll have. You won't have the request for quote button, and when you tick these things, which is how you begin the process, you won't have the quote request button. That said, it's absolutely worth you knowing how this works, because it might be something you pick up down the track. And if nothing else, you will understand what functions Buildxact has. Now, a quick summary of the feature as a whole. The quote request function is here so that you can be quoting something up and you can go tick, tick, I want someone else to price these things. You send it off to them. They get almost a little portal to look at where they put their prices in. They submit it, it comes back to here, the request for quote area in that estimate, and you'll get one or several. You can then pick a winner. That's the process in a nutshell, but we're going to go through it in detail. So I'm going to start by actually adding a new line. And that's just so I can explain one thing that comes up a little bit with people. And that is that when I am sending quote requests, while I can tick and request a quote for a huge number of things, and that's great. Just one thing I want to flag is that you should keep in mind each line that you tick equals a line that the person on the other end has to price separately. So the only thing to flag here is spare a thought for how you generally interact with your trades and suppliers. So what I mean is if they're very used to just having one price that they give you and then they add a document for support, then you may be best off just sending them one line and not several. On the other hand, if you are used to interacting with your trades where they price things separately, then obviously keep doing that, but use the RFQ tool to do that. So it's really just, hey, spare a thought on how you would normally interact with your trades. Me, I'm going to do a single line here. Also, if you want to take a kind of a guesstimate at it, just as a placeholder, it's no problem. No one sees it except for you. So all that's going to do is keep a bit of a placeholder in your estimate until the prices come back and get selected. When you do pick a winner, it'll override your guesstimate anyway. But let's go click this one, new quote request, and 3 steps: setting it up, telling the person on the other end what the scope of the job is, and then picking who it gets sent to. So I'm going to go electrical as the title. Keep these as simple as you possibly can. They don't need to be an essay. This is when you want the quote request back by, and it defaults to 2 weeks, but you can change it to whatever you like. These are the lines that the person on the other end is seeing, and it's more a preview. So if you see that it's saying 75 meters for an item, and you don't want to show them the quantity, you'll get alerted here that they would be seeing that, and you can correct it. We'll go next. Depending on whether you've got plans uploaded or takeoffs done or documents loaded up, you'll get different options up the top. But I'm going to go through and say, load me some documents. These are coming from the estimate details screen. Also, I'm going to send them both plans, and I'm going to send them just a couple of takeoffs as well. Moving on down, the scope of work. This is where you describe the job to this person. And one thing that's worth a mention definitely here is that you can preset these. So if you are describing a job to an electrician, it's going to be very similar most of the time from one job to the next. And hence, if you, like, I'm going to write something simple, just saying electrical as per plan, please price on all material and labor. So if that's something you don't want to type repeatedly, go save. Save as elect. And you'll just build up a bit of a list in here, which allows you to have presets for electrical, plumbing, framing, brick, whatever trades and suppliers you engage with. And again, just saves you typing. Quick point on the takeoffs as well. Note that this is very much your call. So we get two schools of thought here. Some of our users go, hey, look, if I share a takeoff with my trades and suppliers, I work with them really closely, I don't mind doing that. Helps them get the job done a bit quicker. But on the flip side, if I've made a mistake, they're going to rely on that mistake, and that's on me. We have others who go, well, I don't want them relying on any of my mistakes, and I want them to do the job themselves. Hence, I won't send takeoffs. So really just to be aware that you're in control of what you do and don't show to your trades and suppliers. Moving on through, invitation message. So I'm going to start with this and then add recipients. You can preset this as per usual. And a very common thing to preset it with is in the Explore button, and under the FAQ section, it'll take you through to here. We get quite a number of people who attach this article called How to Reply to a Quote Request. And the reason they do this is, and I think it's a great idea, the reason they do this is this video is something that we've made. It's specific for your trades and suppliers, helping them get through the quote request process. So it just shows them what they need to do to tick it off, and is really attacked from the perspective of, hey, you've just got sent one of these, here's how you play it, and here's what you do. So if you want to grab this and attach it, please do. So we might get something like this added. And again, you can preset if you like. So I'm going to send it to myself. As you type, you will get contacts popping up here. So as you're going through, if you want to grab all the electricians and you had emails stored, you'd be typing in, they'd be popping up, you'd be selecting them. In my case, for the example I'm doing, I'm purely just typing in an email to show you that you can. And I'm going to send this one to myself. If you need to, just a final point, you can add new contacts to your contacts area as you go through this process too. So let's send that off. While the email is bouncing around, I'll make 2 points. One is that this little button pops up and the quantity and the price are now locked because it's waiting for the quote request. If I go and click here, or I go up to request for quote, it'll show me who it's been sent to and what responses I've got, if any. Also to note is that we send both a text message and an email if that contact has both a phone number and an email stored. So I'm just going to go to my emails and bring up this one. So this is me now as an electrician receiving an email saying, hey, D&C Contracting is requesting a quote from you for electrical. This is the heading of the quote request, so do keep it simple as mentioned. That's my message. This bit here, if you need a hand, go see the video. And we're wanting them to click on this bit. what this does is opens their portal and they get a whole horde of information through here. So they see the job location, when the quote request has to be done, who I am, and the job details that I typed in. They can message us through here. They can download the plans and the documents or just simply view them. And the idea is this gives them enough information to make a decision about whether they're interested in quoting on the job. So if they go, hey, actually no, I'm not going to quote, it'll just kind of wind them up here. Jumping back to Buildxact for 2 seconds, you will see the status will change. So you're always across where the respondents are up to and what they're doing. On the other hand, if I go yes but later, it actually sends them another reminder email at a slightly later time. And in Buildxact, it'll say pending. If I go yes, the trade or supplier will get shot through into the next screen to put in a price. And in Buildxact, it reflects that. So I'm going to say price is 13,000, including, which is default. I'm also just going to go next. Note that these guys can change how they quote with without tax, whatever they need. I'm going to go next, and this is where they can attach files. So they can grab whatever files they like, throw them in, and we see this very commonly because most of the time trades will have done their own quote in PDF or in Word or something like that, Excel, and they want to attach this for you. They can CC their own people, they can add notes for you, and they can submit, which sends it back to you. Quick pointer here as well, there's a reopen button, which we get questions about actually, saying, look, why is this here? And what we find is, well, from feedback when we're designing this, is that when people submit a quote, it's not uncommon at all for them to instantly call and go, oh mate, I forgot something. Where this button is basically allowing it to reopen until the deadline, that's the really key bit, or until it's closed off. So you're in control of that. But allows them to fix their own mistakes if they forgot something, forgot an attachment, fix it up, and they don't have to pester you. That's really the clincher there. Alright, so when that's come back, we can see in Buildxact the status, the price, and we might have several of these. One thing we should definitely cover is if you ever do get a submission and then the person calls you and says, oh, sorry, I actually forgot something, the price is 14,000. You would probably suggest that they go watch the video, or you would you may even just have them update it themselves because you know that they can do that. If you want to help them out, you can do the change yourself. So you can go view under their file, and you can actually change it here. What this will do is send them a message saying that you have done it. So it confirms it. We're trying to create a paper trail so there's no arguments. And now the price is 14 grand. To pick a winner, you basically go chosen, and chosen will grab the price. It'll work out what the tax implication was. So I had 14K with tax, which means back in my estimate, which is just refreshing, back in my estimate it will be without tax, because Buildxact does all its costing without any tax on it. So I'll just scroll down and show you that. Electrician, there we go. So my price here, 12,727 is 14 grand less tax. Fantastic. Now, final point on this. One question we get all the time is, hey, do you notify people when they win? Do you notify people when they lose? And the answer is, by default, no. You can definitely message them if you like. And what we probably see most commonly is people will go through the quote request process and win the job, so create the job and send purchase orders to confirm with the trades or suppliers that engagement. Remember that at this stage it's just a request, and until you win a job there is actually no job for them, and we kind of go on that basis that we shouldn't be saying yes or no, you've won something, until you actually tell us at Buildxact that there is a job to win. But most people just go through and use the purchase orders. Great, so a bit of a long video, but that explains how the quote requests work and how your trades can use them successfully. Thanks very much.